Hi, guys. I'm just so infinitely grateful for you that you are being in this thread and I can share with you a couple of my experiences. Honestly, I just really get used to creating things in English and just get used to have this thread. And I just wanted to come up here and just share with you a couple of things that I'm actually going through and just share something. Maybe it's gonna inspire you. And I also wanted to invite you to an amazing call, which is gonna be on Monday, um, about how to create big classes. But honestly, this is not really just about how to create big classes. It's also about creating, the future that you desire to have, and it's gonna include so many things in so many levels. So yeah, but before we start, I have some awesome experiences that I wanted to share with you. So one of them are you might know that I just had an amazing being you class in Italy. And the story behind the whole class was I had a flow boot camp 2 years ago in Italy. It was just so close from the castle. It was in Cocconato. It's still so close from Torino. And I wanted to bring the participants to just have the experience and just be in the castle because I've been there before and I kind of knew it's going to be life changing for all of us. That place is not just by itself 5 star, it's just a space that invites you to something different. And it's honestly relaxing your body so much. It's just the space, the building itself, the garden, the people who works there. It just all the furnitures and everything. It just invites you to something really different. And being honest with you, I always thought it's about luxury and elegance. And yes, it still is, but it's most like an energy that it's there. This silence of of life. It invites you to something different. I always go to the gym. I am a gym girl. I love to, lift weights and actually heavy weights. And I normally go 4 times a week and I do like 2, 3 times cardio. And ever since I've been to the castle, I just don't feel to go to the gym anymore. It's not that I'm not going to go because I love gym. It's just my body showed me something like the space from which I was going to the gym all the time. And this seems to change because, I was going to the gym from the point of view that I need to go to the gym. I need to go and have, all these experiences for my body, but I just really wanted to control it. And I have to look a certain way. I need to have a look, and I'm not going to be healthy if I'm not going to the gym. And still, my body loves to move so much. I can't live without moving my body. But I have more questions now. Like, what do I really want? How do I really want to move my body? And what else that is out there that I never thought about? And I really do enjoy to be in my house. It's just since we got back from Italy, so I really do enjoy being home and just hang out. I have a big garden and it's so quiet where I live. I'm living outside of Budapest now, like 30 minutes drive from Budapest. And it's awesome. It's being awesome and I love this space. And since I got back from the castle, I used to work out also at home or I go to the gym. There are different gyms that I go to. It depends on how hard I want to train. And ever since I came back, I just want to sit outside, enjoying the sun, enjoying the wind a little bit, and the smells of the countryside is just amazing. And like things are changing, and not just the place itself, is the people who showed up for the class, their willingness to change. Because I don't know if you know that, but the Being You class has no prerequisites, so anyone can join. And it always gives an energy to a class. When it comes to a bars class or a foundation, it's just a really different class because people already who is taking a foundation, they're already taken a bars and they went through some changes. They have less walls and barriers. But for a BU class, there are no prereqs. And it's always interesting because many of these people never taken a bars class and they never met any of these tools before. And this is what happened in this class. Like some people just showed up on the first morning and they just drove from Budapest to the castle and they were like, hey, we're going to attend. And they never take a bars class before. And that was just so amazing. And watching these people coming into that class, changing during the 2.5 days was just something really amazing. Because one of those people, he was kind of like, I got this, I live like this is my whole life. You're just explaining my whole life. And at some point, I could see him kind of struggling. It's like, she's not saying anything new. Yeah, I know all of this. And I went and I said, hey, you can have the rightness of your point of view, that you got this, you know all of this. But if you do so, you are not going to receive anything from this class, what it has to offer for you. And that was something really interesting. When I said that, that person, I could see, he was like, oh, I do have the rightness of my point of view. Of course I do, because I know all of this. And honestly, we all know this. It's not something new. It's just something that maybe in this lifetime no one else said before. No one else told us before. And it's just amazing to be like, oh, yeah, of course. I know all of this. Because I don't know what about you, but that was my experience with all of these tools. I have taken the first class with my mentor, András, and I felt like, oh my God, he's putting into words everything I always knew was possible. He's putting into words everything what I thought things are. And it was just something super amazing for me to, see and experience, and seeing people changing from the very first second of the class was just something amazing. And this person, when he left, he said that was one of the best weekends in his life yet. And I was so happy to hear that. And so I wanted to share with you another thing also, that so I had my boot camp 2 years ago in Coconato, and I brought all the ladies to the castle for one night, and we did an aperitivo, we did a piano concert, and we were just enjoying ourselves and, just enjoying the space. And it was such a unique experience. And I thought to myself, okay, Nicola, you're going to come back here and you're going to have a class at the castle one day. And I was like, okay, one day. And honestly, I didn't know that you can rent it as a venue. Let's say you can rent the ballroom, but you don't have to stay at the castle. You don't have to rent rooms. And I didn't know that that's the case. So I said to my team, hey guys, I want to have a class at the castle. Let's rent it. So we got the quote. It wasn't cheap. Of course not. It's a 5-star hotel. And I was like, okay, I don't know how, but we are going to create the money for that. So we got the first, invoice. And I was at my house with my team because we were on the road show for my book in Hungary. And so we were going to one town or city. And while we were here at my house waiting for everyone, the guys were like, okay, Nicola, we got the first invoice we have to pay. I'm like, how much is that? And they showed me. I'm like, okay. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And they were like, oh, there is more of this. I'm like, okay, that's okay. Let's pay. And we pushed to enter. We sent the money in, and I could feel things changing immediately for me. And, I realized early on that we need at least 50 people to be at zero. So we matched the costs of the class. But I realized that I'm not going to do this in English because so many Hungarians signed up for the class, and I felt like a little weird if I have only a couple English speaking people and then I have like 98% Hungarians and I'm speaking in English for them. It felt weird to me. So I kept the class only Hungarian. And I know you when people come to class to Italy, they have to travel. They have to get a place where they sleep. We had a couple rooms left at the castle, so they could stay with us, or they could stay around Casa Borgone, or some people stayed in Cocconato, so that was just perfectly fine. And we had, I guess, 30 people. But from the very beginning, I was just so peaceful with all of this creation. I knew that the profit from this class is not gonna come through the class. It's gonna come through some other creations in the future. And I knew this was my what's the word? This was my let me find that word for me. Investment, sorry. So that was my investment into the future. And I know the money will come back to me tenfolded, and I ask for it to come back to me tenfolded. And I know this was one of the steps that got me into going international. And this group is one of my first steps at that. And this class at the castle was the second step. And during that time, we did the third step, which was we ordered 100 translation gears. So when we have a big class and it's being translated, so then with these gears, people are able to listen to the live translations. And all of these choices that we make are creating the future. And that's what I see with most of the people. And this is what I want to talk about in my webinar, is that when you want to create something bigger, you want to, expand something, it's your choice to make it bigger. It's your willingness to go bigger. And, I don't know if anyone will come to my class and requires a translation, but we created the space for it. If they want to, we can provide that. And that was one of the things with my classes as well, that it was something about my classes when I always chose more. I always chose a bigger venue, and I never went back to smaller venues. I never do that. Like I pick a venue, let's say it's 100 square meter, I never go under. It's not because it's the necessity, it's just my choice and my demand of myself. And I realized I never knew when I was going bigger, like if anyone will come. But I always said to my team, okay, we had 100 participants, we can have 200. That's just, it depends on your willingness to, receive. And we always went bigger. I never knew if anyone will show up for that class and if we can fill the room. But I knew something. When I moved my classes from my living room to my first venue, that was one of the biggest game changer in my life, because I finally created the life and the future what I desired. And I was okay with losing the money. I just knew I need to provide space for people to come, because if I don't provide the space, there is no space where they can come in. So that was one of the biggest change for me in the business, and seeing all of these choices. And why am I sharing with you all of this? Because not all of you are facilitators or having an access business. You have some businesses, I guess, but not this kind of facilitation business. But still, like, it's up on you what you are creating, and it's not that hard. It doesn't require brain surgery. It's just kind of hacking this reality. I think the whole point about this is getting to be the state where you are happy with your life and with your choices, that you're enjoying your stuff and your life, you're enjoying your creations. You feel like you are like jumping off the cliff all the time. You feel uncomfortable, because that's one of the things that is super required. You feeling uncomfortable. When you're not feeling uncomfortable, your business is not growing. And for me, over the years, I have a big team, and some of them are employees, some of them are freelancers. But we have a big team and so many people working for my business, and not comfortable to work with so many people. And some people just wants to be, in peace, make some money, having classes in their living rooms. And I think that's fine too. What is really important, that you have to be congruent with your life and your creations. And honestly, for me, from the very beginning, it was really clear that was not working for me. It's co-creating with other people, not in a way that I have classes with other people. I'm going to have a foundation class with Brandon here in Budapest the end of September, and that's fun for me. But I realized that for me, the most fun when I'm creating for my own business, when I do my own business. And I realized early on that I don't like small things. I like everything being big and something that is always growing. But growing, it's one other information for you guys is, when you zoom into your life, you might see months when you go up and then you go down and then you go up and then you go down. But when you zoom out and you look back in the past 5 years, it's always growing. Even though if it's just a little, but it's always growing. And with my business, even these months, because I realize also when we are growing and we are creating something so beyond this reality, the money part starts to get stuck a little bit, and then it stops flowing that intensely. And what you can do is just don't make it wrong, because if you zoom out, you're going to see a growth always. And this is what about our lives. It's just not a linear something. It's just a chaotic, always changing energy. And when we get comfortable, let's say, with that change, when we are like, okay, nothing is wrong, all good. But you can get this from only experience. If you don't go into that experience, you're never gonna get to that place where you feel like, okay, I'm good, nothing is wrong, and my life is fine. Because you're always gonna be scared. You have to go through all of this, having the experience. Because when you have the experience, you look back and you're like, yeah, this kind of happened to me 2 years ago. I didn't die. I didn't lose anything. That's fine. This happens sometimes. Not things are not always bright and shiny. And that's okay. This is what it is. What would it take for me to change this? What else can I choose? What can I add to my business? What can I change here? What can I be? What can I change? And what can I choose that would change all of this? And that is how you create something bigger It can be your life, it can be your money situation, it can be your wealth, it can be your business, it can be anything that you want to grow. So come and join me on that amazing call on Monday evening. If I'm right, it's 7 p.m. Central European Time, not sure. Let me check. 8 p.m., sorry. 8 p.m. Central European Time. We're going to have recordings. If you sign up, you're going to get recordings afterwards. And we have a huge Zoom, so you can come and join us. Oh, I actually think it's going to be on YouTube. Yeah, it's going to be on the private link on YouTube. So you can get it only if you sign up. So sign up, please. Come and join me. And if you think that you know someone who would really benefit from that call in any ways, just invite them. If they just want to have an awesome evening, then please invite them. And so grateful that you guys are here. And if you know anyone that would be happy to be in this thread, this community, I would say, just invite them. And thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your body. Rest as much as you can, sleep as much as you can, and just have way too much fun. See you soon.